Hello there. We're going to be covering using Adobe Illustrator. This is from Illustrator CS5, but most of the things will be the same in CS6 or CS4. The first thing I want to cover is an overview of the workspace. If we look at the top here, we've got the menu bar. Below that, we have a context-sensitive control bar. So this control bar, the options that will change here depending on what's being selected on the work area. If we look here on the left, we've got the tools toolbar, and on the right we've got some control and panel dialog boxes. So these are panel dialog boxes, I should say, and these allow us to kind of change some options for the various things we've got selected, or what we're going to kind of be drawing next. So those are the main areas of the Adobe Illustrator interface. So if we want to customize these panels and toolbars, we can. If we wanted to, we could bring out this stroke bar, bring it out to here, and we could also close it. Now if you ever want to bring anything back, you can reset the workspace by simply switching to a different workspace and then switching back. And these two double arrows here will expand these panels out. The option to have the panels hidden is useful if you've got a small screen real estate like on a laptop. And on the left hand side, the toolbar, this turns it into a single column versus a two column layout. If we can bring up additional windows, panels, if we go in here, so we could bring in the align panel, just bring that onto the screen. We can have this floating anywhere, or we can dock it here, and there's various other options for docking things. So I want to start off with going to File, New, and we're going to choose an A4 document that's going to be landscape. One thing that people tend to do in Illustrator is just they want to annotate a picture, and they start by just simply opening up the picture in here. I'm just going to demonstrate that now by dragging and dropping this image in. Now this image has got 72 pixels per inch resolution, so it actually comes in quite large on the screen. So it's much larger than the A4 document. So you really want to think about things in terms of this whatever output size you want to go for. That way when you set resolution on output, and when you're trying to fit it on a certain area in the page, you know you're going to be dealing with a certain font size, and it has an absolute size, it's not just relative. Font width, everything like that. So it's really best practice to decide how big the illustration you want to make it, like how big it's going to be for output. Another interesting thing here is that we've actually got two somewhat identical looking pictures, but this one's got 1200 ppi, and that's actually what the resolution it was scanned at. There's a rock chip scan on a flatbed scanner, so that's coming in at the exact size it was originally, so that can be quite useful. And just to be aware of why there's so much difference in how rasters are brought into a document, could be because of this. Just a look at some of the basic tools now. So a really basic tool is this pan tool. So we can pan around the document. We can scroll to pan or hold down Control and pan sideways. You can use these bars on the scroll bars on the right hand side and bottom, or you can zoom in using by percentage. Another cool trick here is if I switch back to the selection tool and hold down spacebar, then I can just switch to the pan tool temporarily. So that's pretty useful if you're drawing things in close. Next tool I want to look at is the zoom tool. So if we draw a marquee, we can zoom into an area. If you hold down Alt, you can zoom out. And if you I just showed the zoom down there, so that was one of the other tricks for zooming. You can also use Alt and scroll to zoom in and out. I find that one quite useful. So the tool you find yourself using a lot is the selection tool. So I've just selected that image, I'm going to delete it. And I want to just draw a few boxes. I just want to introduce something about selection paradigms. So the selection paradigm that Adobe Illustrator uses is the intersection selection paradigm. So in order to select all these objects, all I have to do is intersect all of them with this marquee that I'm drawing by clicking and dragging out from that point. So now I've selected these all and I can move them around I should say. Whereas other software like Inkscape and ArcGIS uses a rubber band selection. In order to select things you need to encompass all the objects, like so. This will obviously work with the intersection paradigm because you've intersected them as well. You now see these blue outlines indicating these are all selected. That's actually the colour. If you look down here in the layers, that's the colour of the that layer. So everything gets coloured that way when it's selected. And we'll just leave it there and I'll move on to the next lesson and can find that below.